A calendar ends, the world does not. But myths filled the silence. Tonight, 10 dark conspiracies and the evidence that breaks them. The Maya did not leave a single book titled The End of the World. They left calendars. They left carved monuments. They left a worldview that measured time in cycles, some short, some immense. And then, centuries later, a modern myth formed around one date, December 21st, 2012. What makes this story powerful is that it sits on a real foundation. The Maya long count is real. The 13th Baktun is real. The date is real, at least in the widely used GMT correlation. But the leap from cycle ending to world ending is a leap the evidence does not support. So this is not a conspiracy video in the usual sense. It is a documentary on how conspiracies grow, how a piece of accurate archaeology can be stretched into a global doomsday narrative. Each dark secret here is a claim that's spread, and the evidence that either undermines it or leaves it unresolved. When a claim is unconfirmed, we say so. When a record is silent, we respect that silence. Fact 10. The Mayan calendar ends in 2012, so the world ends too. This is the origin myth of the entire 2012 phenomenon. The long count calendar reaches a major cycle turnover at 13.0.0.0, which corresponds, in the standard correlation, to December 21st, 2012. That date ends a 13 Baktun cycle, which is about 5,125 years. The conspiracy twist is simple. If the calendar ends, the world must end. But that is not how the long count works. The Maya measured time in repeating cycles. One cycle ending is followed by the next beginning, like an odometer rolling over. That logic is stated explicitly by scholars. The calendar resets. It does not stop. Modern sources consistently emphasize this. National Geographic notes that the long count's 13th Baktun ending was a significant period ending, not an apocalypse. History.com makes the same point. In Maya logic, a new cycle would begin immediately after the old one concluded. So the calendar ends, world ends claim is a modern narrative, not a Maya prophecy. And that is the first dark secret. The most famous 2012 prediction was never in the calendar itself. It was placed there by outsiders long after the inscriptions were carved. Fact 9. The Maya left a doomsday prophecy on a monument. The key piece of evidence cited by doomsday believers is a carved inscription from the site of Tortuguero, known as Monument 6. It contains the long count date 130000 and mentions a deity often read as Bolonyokte Ku. That line is damaged and incomplete, which has fueled decades of speculation. Here is the evidence we do have. The Metropolitan Museum of Art notes that Monument 6 primarily concerns the ritual dedication of a building in AD 669. The inscription references other calendrical period endings. The Maya often did this as a way of situating events in cosmic time, like a modern writer referencing an anniversary. The 2012 line appears within that ritual context. National Geographic adds that the damaged glyphs around the 2012 date have been translated in multiple ways, and that the passage may contain no prophecy at all, just a forward-looking reference tying a ruler's achievements to a distant period ending. PBS/Nova notes that only 2 inscriptions even mention the turn of the 13th Baktun, and neither predicts the end of the world. The line at La Corona, for example, was written to connect a king's reign to cosmic time, a political message, not a doomsday warning. So the prophecy exists only as a modern interpretation of a damaged line. The monument is real. The apocalypse is not in the text. Fact 8. 2012 was a galactic alignment that the Maya predicted. One popular claim said that on December 21st, 2012, the winter solstice sun would align with the center of the Milky Way, triggering a cosmic event. This galactic alignment was framed as an astronomical key that the Maya had supposedly encoded into their calendar. The evidence does not support this. History.com notes that the supposed solstice galactic alignment has no physical effect on Earth, and that without modern radio telescopes, the ancient Maya could not have mapped the Milky Way's exact equator. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory adds further context. The Earth and Sun align with the approximate center of the Milky Way every December. It is an annual event of no consequence. The idea that 2012 was uniquely dangerous is not supported by astronomy, so the galactic alignment conspiracy is built on two misunderstandings: that the alignment was unique and that it carries a physical effect. The evidence says neither is true. Fact 7. Planet Nibiru was coming, and the Maya knew. The Nibiru claim is one of the darkest and most persistent. It suggests a giant hidden planet on a long elliptical orbit that would collide with Earth around 2012. The Mayan calendar is often invoked to time this arrival. NASA's JPL addressed this directly in their 2012 reality check. Their message was clear. There is no evidence of such a planet, and no gravitational disturbances have been observed that would indicate one. If a large planet were entering the inner solar system, it would have been visible long before 2012. This conspiracy is not rooted in Maya texts. It is rooted in modern pseudoscience. The calendar was used to give it a deadline, but not a foundation. Fact 6. A planetary alignment would destroy Earth. Another popular doomsday narrative claimed that a rare planetary alignment in 2012 would create catastrophic gravitational forces, causing earthquakes and global upheaval. NASA's JPL reality check addressed this directly. There were no significant planetary alignments in 2012, and even if there were, their gravitational influence on Earth would be negligible. The Sun and the Moon dominate Earth's tides and orbital behavior. This is a crucial point. The claim is framed as science, but it ignores basic physics. The calendar becomes a date stamp for a claim that fails even the simplest checks. Fact 5. Earth's magnetic poles would flip in 2012. The pole shift theory was one of the most alarming. Some versions claim that Earth's magnetic field would flip suddenly in 2012, triggering massive earthquakes and catastrophic changes to the planet's rotation. NASA's JPL reality check addresses this clearly. Magnetic pole reversals do occur, but on timescales of hundreds of thousands of years, not on a single date. And the reversal process takes thousands of years to unfold. There is no evidence that a reversal began in 2012, and even if it did, it would not alter the Earth's rotation or axis in any sudden way. National Geographic's debunking of 2012 myths adds further context. Geological evidence shows that such shifts, when they occur, are extremely slow. Far too slow to produce the cinematic disaster people feared. This conspiracy is often paired with the Mayan calendar, but it is a modern fear with no basis in Maya astronomy or archaeology. The calendar did not predict pole shifts. The claim was attached to it later. Fact 4. A solar superstorm was due in 2012. The Sun does have cycles. Roughly every 11 years, solar activity rises and falls. Some 2012 narratives claim that a solar maximum would peak that year, unleashing catastrophic flares that would destroy modern civilization. NASA's JPL response is straightforward. The solar cycle does peak approximately every 11 years, but this is a normal, repeating phenomenon. There was no evidence that 2012 would be uniquely severe. In fact, NASA noted that the next maximum was expected around 2013. The important point is that Earth regularly experiences these cycles without collapse. This is a classic example of turning a real scientific fact, solar cycles, into an apocalyptic claim. The Maya were careful astronomers, but there is no evidence they tied a future solar event to the long count rollover. The conspiracy did that work for them. Fact 3. An asteroid or comet was on course for 2012. another dark story, claimed that a large asteroid or comet would strike Earth around December 2012. This was often combined with Nibiru rumors or presented as an independent disaster. NASA's JPL has repeatedly stated that there is no credible evidence of any asteroid or comet on a collision course with Earth in that time frame, and that known objects do not pose a threat over the next century. Their near-Earth object tracking program exists precisely to identify threats, and no such 2012 impact was ever identified. This is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of observation. Large objects on an Earth-crossing trajectory would be visible long before impact. The fact that none were detected is not a conspiracy. It is the normal outcome of continuous sky surveys. The idea that the Maya knew about such an object is unsupported by any inscription. It is a modern fear attached to an ancient calendar. Fact 2. The Maya only counted time until 2012. A common claim holds that the Maya calendar stops at 2012 because the Maya never recorded dates beyond it. Archaeology has shown this to be false. The discovery at Sultun, Guatemala, revealed wall paintings and calculations that track astronomical and calendrical cycles thousands of years into the future. The calculations include dates some 7,000 years in the future, evidence against the idea that the Maya thought the world would end in 2012. This is critical. It means that the people who actually used the calendar were not concerned about time ending at 13.0.0.0. They were concerned with continuity and prediction, not apocalypse. The AAAS summary of Mayan calendar myths also notes that discoveries at Sultun show time marked far beyond 2012, again undermining any end-of-time narrative. So the conspiracy that the Maya ran out of time is not supported by Maya evidence. Their calculations stretched forward, not toward a stop sign. Fact 1. The Maya used one calendar, and it predicted doom. This final conspiracy collapses under the weight of Maya complexity. The Maya did not use a single calendar. They used multiple systems: the 260-day ritual cycle, the 365-day solar calendar, and the long count for deep time. In that worldview, time is cyclical, not terminal. Period endings were moments of ritual importance, not annihilation. National Geographic notes that the Maya liked period endings and would have considered the end of the 13th Baktun significant, but not catastrophic. PBS/Nova adds that Maya inscriptions referencing the 13th Baktun were often political or commemorative, not apocalyptic. They used cosmic time to legitimize rulers, not to warn of extinction. This matters because it shows how modern narratives can oversimplify an ancient system. The Maya kept time with remarkable precision, but their calendar was a tool of ritual, politics, and astronomy, not a prophecy of doomsday. The darkest secret of all is not that the Maya predicted the end. It is that modern culture projected its own fears onto a civilization that measured time differently, and then called that projection a prophecy. The 2012 phenomenon wasn't built on a single lie. It was built on a chain of misunderstandings: a real calendar, a damaged inscription, an attractive date, and a modern appetite for cosmic drama. Stone by stone, the evidence points in a different direction. The Maya were not counting down to extinction. They were counting forward, framing human events inside vast cycles of time. These conspiracies are dark because they show how easily a civilization can be misread and how quickly fear can grow when a story seems to promise secrets. But the real story is more grounded and, in some ways, more beautiful. A culture that saw time as renewal, not collapse. Which myth surprised you the most? And which one still feels hard to shake? And what should be the next deep dive? Another lost calendar or another ancient prophecy gone wrong?